everyone, and welcome back to BMX News, a live weekly BMX news show where I talk about everything that happened in the previous week in the world of BMX that I think you guys might care about. We do this live every Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got a poll up in the chat, and it looks like 56% of people are going to ride this weekend. So there's that. A lot of people in the chat talking about the weather right now. I'm kind of depressed that I just checked the weather and there isn't a high above 30 for the past week or for the next week, but what are you going to do? So we got Sean Chambers in the chat, Huck Karinsky, and Caleb Oni. Two members in the chat. Vic's in here too. Shout out to all the members in the chat. If you don't know what that means, there's a join button. Click it and you'll find out. We got The Scene's Not Dead, Noah McBride, Nate Garr, Stony, Old Fat Guy BMX is in here, Vulgar BMX, Kevin Jackson, and yeah, we'll be digging, no riding. Man, you can dig whenever it's this cold. Maybe you're not, it's not as cold where you're at. The ground will surely be frozen by the end of the week after this one. Either way, we're here and we're ready to talk about what happened in the past week in BMX. So, first off, we have the Dig Book 2023 to talk about. This is Dig's yearly issue, print magazine. And let me make myself smaller here. I had this big from the Zach Gerber podcast and forgot to shrink it. There we go. So we've got that, and it looks like I need some headphones quick so I can focus. Looks like they sold out on the Dig store, but it's still worldwide available from bike shops, and there's lots of stuff in here. You can go through this link. It's in the description below after the video goes live, and I'm going to be honest, I don't have the energy to sit here and talk about this right now. If you pause it and you read it and you have thoughts on it, I would be curious. You know what? No. So instead of going on a 15-minute, rant about how stupid this is, how about you guys give me your thoughts on the fact that this is printed front and center in a BMX magazine for everybody to go and read, which, I guess I get it because magazines are, or at least tabloids and those magazines like that are meant for the attention of it. But yeah, I don't know. I'd be curious to hear what people think. And there's a lot more good stuff in this. Look at that cover. Corey Walsh in a literal, like, gigantic cereal bowl. It's insane looking. I think Rob Delecki is the one who shot it, and I think he has a full picture on his Instagram so you can see the entire thing, and it's kind of crazy. So yeah, that's linked in the description below if you want to see more about that. Then from there, we can talk about some videos that came out this week. So first up, the Odyssey BMX guest list, next episode in that series. This one is with Justin Spreet, and then Devin Smiley is the guest. And as you would guess, that was horrible. They killed it. Shut down these ramps. I'm pumped that these ramps are still hanging around and people are still absolutely shredding them. And two extremely technical but really, really solid riders all around. You've got Devin Smiley doing this huge suicide no-hander over the spine, but he can also do a crazy backlash to back tire jam to whatever out he was doing in there. And it's cool to see. Justin Spreet is so well-rounded as well. He can do huge air tricks, but get super technical and be burly at the same time. It's awesome. And the videos go from shortest to longest in here. So second, we've got one from somebody that I hadn't heard of before. His name is Pierre, and the video is called Lifer. It's a BMX street edit, and it's a good video. It's definitely a good video. Hey, give me 1 second. Oh, trying to focus. Anyways, So there's a lot of street stuff going on in here. He does a lot of technical things, but there's also some burly. And for somebody that I've never heard of before, definitely a really solid all around video. And the last clip is wild here. I'll show you. I can't show you the last clip because then it ruin it. We'll just pull up, a second of the video. Stuff like this, just creative spot usage as well. Riding that. So yeah, check that one out if you want to see one from somebody you may not have heard of before, but is an absolute shredder. Then another person that I hadn't heard of before, but this one has a ton burly riding in it. I want to say technical because everyone's technical these days, but there's a lot of burly stuff in here. And that guy who was upset. Of course, we cut right to the technical trick first. Maybe this one's more tech and the last one was more burly, but I could have swore there was a lot of burly stuff in this one. Just cool setups. Everybody's so technical and like, I don't know, everybody's just good these days. This and the last were also well done videos. Nothing you could complain about in that regard. Yeah, I think this one was more technical than it was burly, and the last one was more burly than it was technical. Good spot usage, fun. Now, if we want to talk like for real, gnarly, burly, crazy, this is the video for the week. Logan Penberg in a video called Crispy for We the People. Seems like everything Logan does is something gnarly. It's either this far on the gnarly scale or this far on the burly scale. And the kid kills it. I honestly find myself like wondering too, because there's been so many videos with Logan that are just absolutely wild. But I feel like, does anybody really know anything about him as a person? I feel like we need some more stuff like that. The Brant RV is in the works. Oh, the RV. But yeah, I would love to learn more about Logan in a video with just more than crazy riding. There's so much wild stuff, and this video is an example of that. And I want to see more. Get to know this dude. Next up, we've got Odyssey's best of 2023 video. Video starts short, get longer. We're right in the middle right now. This one's like 7 minutes long, and just everything they thought was the best of the year. So check that out if you want to see it. Then we've got Fracture Unity. Yeah, Unity. With Felix Prangenberg, Paul Tolan, Linda Grabner, and more. I'm not sure if there's a list of riders. Right here. Filmed by, just kidding. No other list of riders, but Felix Prangenberg is insane. He is on a tear right now. Absolutely going wild, doing so much insane stuff. He's so far on the technical side of things, but then also just skilled on the bike. You have to be that technical to where you can do something extremely burly at the same time. And it's awesome to watch. He's definitely killing it. Linda Grabner as well, killing it. This is another one where it's like just riding, crazy riding. Then we've got S&M's Keith Hartwell in a video called Art of the Dig. So this one has riding, and then it has some of the realities of maintaining a trail spot with some narration over it. And it was an interesting watch, and you get a lot of the insight into what looks like just gnarly struggle these guys have at these trails with the weather. I mean, the flooding that seemed to be shown all over the place and water running out, and then just stuff completely getting collapsed by the weather just kind of shows like digging and trails are an art. Look at this. This is a berm. He's saying right now that the berm is completely collapsed. It's wild. And so definitely a labor of love. And you can see at this spot, these guys have to love it to maintain it whenever you have stuff like that happens, because it's so easy to get demoralized that I could see somebody, just giving up whenever their berm completely collapses. But It's not how trails people work. They got the determination and the will to not let it just go away unless something absolutely horrible happens. So check that out if you want your dose of trails and see about the art of the dig. Then we've got Fit Bike Co. raw files with Mikey Andrews. So this is from his Fit Pro part, and this is like the raw cut of it. So it's much longer. 12 and a half minutes with Mikey Andrews raw. So yeah, check that one out if you want a little bit longer of a video. Then we get into the triple challenge that went down this past weekend at the Anaheim Supercross. Everything that happened here. I heard a lot of people talking about the jumps. I don't necessarily know what happened. It seemed like some spacing was weird and some jump distances were weird and made it pretty difficult. I do know that a couple of people that I know got severely broke off at this event. My buddy Zoa, he got knocked out, had a concussion, and then Jake Calhoun, you guys probably heard of him. He like crashed really hard and hit his chin on his brake lever and like pushed his teeth back super bad. Like that was on the first jump, so I can't say anything about spacing or anything like that. Don't know what caused those crashes, but as usual, the BMX Triple Challenge is the thing that separates the gnarly ones from the people who aren't ready yet, because the people who come out on top are the ones who are ready and gnarly and throw down. And hopefully both those dudes can heal up. And I heard something, I saw comments about Victor Peraza. I have no idea what happened with that. I didn't see any updates or anything, so I don't know. Hopefully he's okay. And if somebody does know, let me know, I guess. There's a line to be drawn. Well, these guys are building these jumps and they have to do it in days. 3 jumps for a contest that need to work together, and you only have days to build them. It's not like we're talking about trails that people put years and years of time into to dial them in perfectly. These guys have the week before the event to get this dialed in. So it's wild that they're even able to pull it off and make it work in that short amount of time. And from what I have heard, they have it down to like a science where they get these jumps mostly done building them with the machine, and then the shovel work that they have to do is minimal. So it's one of those things like you only have a week to work on them. It's understandable that they might not be 100% perfect every single time, and people were able to ride them. They were able to throw down. So yeah, it's cool that just anybody can ride these, but unfortunate that anybody can ride these at the same time because of how gnarly they are. So it's one of the things, man. It has to exist. You have to have open contests for anybody to be able to ride. And when you have that and you have people wanting to prove themselves, you're gonna have people get hurt. It's just naturally part of things. You can't protect everyone. We ride BMX. It's dangerous inherently. So yeah, enough on that, but let's go into interview type stuff from this week. First up, S&M's Factory Friday video talking about some Tom Dugan frames that are in progress right now. American made Tom Dugan frames, so those will be available shortly. If they're not already, you can learn more in this video. And if you want to get one of those frames and save yourself 10%, you can use the code MORE. My code, just my last name, saves you 10% and helps me at the same time. You can use it literally on anything from a frame to a complete bike to anything from S&M or Fit. Then we've got a podcast I did with Zach Gerber this week, Real Talk with Zach Gerber number 3. We talked about a lot of different things. Talk about Sean Ricani, talk about the Olympics, talk about marketing in BMX, talk about so much. And it's always a good chat whenever I get on there with Zach. And he's a very opinionated person, very passionate about BMX, and just, wants to see BMX thrive. So we always have good conversations. Check it out if you haven't. Then we've got the next Canode Knows. This one was with Black Man. So if you don't know who Desmond Blackman Rhodes is, listen to this podcast. Go back and listen to some of the other podcasts that he has done. This dude has been gnarly for a long time and always has stories. It's worthwhile to hear what he has to say, just to hear it. So, with that being said, that is the longest and last thing that I had to talk about this week in BMX. I hope you guys have a good week, can deal with this cold if you're in the Midwest or northern part of the United States or anywhere that it's cold at. Looks like 53% of you can't ride. I'll be at Rays tomorrow, and hopefully I'll see some of you there. Appreciate you all tuning in. We had 23 people in this chat for this week's BMX news. Thank you to all of you. Shout out to the members again. Caleb Oney's in here. Who else? Vic, Huck Karinsky's in here. Big thanks to you guys. You directly support this channel. And if you want to support and you don't know how, there's a ton of discount codes in the description for things that you probably already need to buy. You can save some money on them and it helps me at the same time. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow.